For every legendary aircraft that ruled the skies, dozens of experimental machines were left behind. These were not failures of imagination. They were bold attempts that simply arrived too early, too late, or too different for their time. This is the story of America's forgotten prototypes. Early Air Force prototypes. The consolidated Vultee XP-81 was an ambitious hybrid, combining a turboprop engine for long range with a jet engine for speed. On paper, it sounded like the perfect escort fighter for long missions. But in reality, both engines underperformed, leaving the aircraft slow and ineffective. As pure jet technology rapidly improved, this mixed concept quickly became outdated. The Northrop XP-79 flying ram pushed the limits of extreme design. Built with a strong, reinforced frame, it was intended to physically strike enemy bombers in combat. The pilot had to lie flat inside the aircraft to withstand potential impact forces. However, the concept was dangerously impractical, and the only prototype tragically crashed during its very first flight. The Bell XP-83 was designed as a long-range fighter with massive fuel capacity. Its bulky structure allowed it to stay airborne longer than many early jets. But that same weight made it sluggish and unable to compete with faster, more agile designs. As jet technology advanced rapidly, the XP-83 was quickly overshadowed and cancelled. The McDonnell XF-85 Goblin was one of the most unusual ideas in aviation history. A tiny jet fighter designed to be carried inside a bomber, it would deploy mid-air to defend its host aircraft. While the concept worked in theory, docking back into the bomber proved extremely difficult and dangerous. Pilots described the experience as terrifying, and the project was eventually abandoned. The Curtiss-Wright XF-87 Black Hawk was a large twin-engine fighter meant to fill the all-weather interceptor role. It looked powerful and heavily built, giving the impression of a formidable aircraft. Unfortunately, its performance didn't match expectations, especially in terms of speed. Competing designs outclassed it, leading to its cancellation. The McDonnell XF-88 Voodoo was built for deep penetration missions into enemy territory. It featured a sleek and efficient design that hinted at future success. However, early jet engines lacked the power needed to fully unlock its potential. Although this version failed, its design later influenced more successful aircraft. The Lockheed XF-90 was visually striking, with a sharp nose and swept wings that suggested high speed. But beneath that sleek appearance was a major flaw. It was far too heavy for its engines. This limited its performance significantly, and it lost out in competition. Its final role was as a test subject in nuclear blast experiments. The Republic XF-91 Thunderceptor introduced a highly unusual wing design that was wider at the tips than at the base. Combined with rocket-assisted propulsion, it aimed to achieve exceptional speed and climb rates. While innovative, the complexity of the design made it impractical for regular service. It remained an experimental curiosity. The Convair XF-92A marked a turning point as America's first delta-wing jet aircraft. This design would later become standard for supersonic fighters. However, the aircraft itself was difficult to control and purely experimental. Despite never seeing combat, it played a crucial role in shaping future jet designs. The North American YF-93 was an upgraded evolution of a successful fighter, redesigned for greater range and power. It featured a wider fuselage and advanced air intake system. During testing, it showed promising speed and performance. Still, the military chose a different design, leaving the YF-93 behind. The North American F-107A stood out with its unusual top-mounted air intake placed above the cockpit. This gave it a unique and futuristic appearance. It was incredibly fast and packed with advanced features for its time. Despite this, it narrowly lost a competition to a rival aircraft, and never entered production. The Lockheed YF-12 was a high-speed interceptor built from the same foundation as one of the fastest aircraft ever created. It was capable of flying at extreme altitudes and speeds exceeding 3 times the speed of sound. Designed to intercept enemy bombers, it was incredibly advanced. However, budget cuts and shifting priorities ended the program prematurely. Navy prototypes. The Curtiss X F-15C was a transitional design that combined a traditional propeller with a jet engine. This hybrid approach aimed to balance range and speed. Unfortunately, by the time it was ready, pure jet aircraft had already proven superior. The concept quickly became obsolete. The Ryan XF-2R Dark Shark followed a similar idea, attempting to blend propeller efficiency with jet performance. It was an improved version of earlier hybrid designs. However, rapid advancements in jet technology made such combinations unnecessary. It failed to compete and was abandoned. The Grumman XF-10F Jaguar was one of the earliest attempts at a swing-wing fighter. In theory, adjustable wings would allow both high speed and stability. In practice, the system was unreliable and difficult to control. Test pilots disliked it so much that it earned a reputation for refusing to fly properly. The Convair F-2YC Dart was one of the most unconventional fighters ever built. Instead of landing on runways, it used retractable skis to operate from water. While it achieved supersonic speed, intense vibrations made it extremely uncomfortable and unsafe. The concept proved too complex for real-world use. The Douglas XF 5D Skylancer was a refined and powerful evolution of earlier fighter designs. It demonstrated excellent speed, stability, and overall performance. It was even considered ready for full production. However, strategic decisions led to its cancellation, and it was later used for experimental research. The Grumman F-11F-1F Super Tiger was a high-performance upgrade that pushed speed and altitude limits. It broke records and impressed during testing. Despite its capabilities, it lost out due to timing and competition from other programs. It remains one of the most capable fighters never produced. The General Dynamics Grumman F-111B was designed as a long-range interceptor for aircraft carriers. It featured advanced systems and heavy weaponry. However, its large size and weight made it unsuitable for carrier operations. The Navy eventually abandoned the program in favor of a more practical solution. The Vortex F-8U3. Crusader 3 was widely respected by pilots for its incredible speed and maneuverability. It performed exceptionally well in testing and combat simulations. However, it lost to a competing aircraft that offered more versatility with a second crew member. Many still consider it a missed opportunity. Advanced fighter competitions. The Northrop YF-17 Cobra was a lightweight and highly agile fighter built for dogfighting. It emphasized maneuverability and control in close combat situations. Although it lost the initial competition, its design proved so effective that it was later adapted into a highly successful naval fighter. The General Dynamics F-16XL was a radical evolution featuring a large delta wing for improved lift and payload capacity. It offered better range and strike capability than the standard version. Despite its advantages, the Air Force chose a simpler upgrade path. The XL remained an impressive but unused advancement. The Northrop YF-23 was a stealth-focused design that prioritized speed and low observability. It was faster and harder to detect than its main competitor. Many experts believed it was technologically superior. However, a different aircraft was selected, leaving the YF-23 as one of the biggest what-if stories in aviation. The Boeing X-32 was built for a major multi-role fighter competition. Its unusual shape and large intake made it instantly recognizable. While it met many requirements, it struggled with weight and vertical landing performance. Ultimately, it lost to a more balanced design. Private venture fighters. The General Dynamics F-16/79 was created specifically for export markets using a less advanced engine. The goal was to offer a capable fighter without sharing sensitive technology. However, this also reduced its performance significantly. Most countries preferred more powerful alternatives. The Northrop F-20 Tigershark was a fast, reliable, and cost-effective fighter aimed at allied nations. It had excellent performance and quick response capabilities. Despite this, it struggled against stronger political and commercial competition. It is often remembered as one of the best fighters never produced. The Rockwell XF-V12 attempted to achieve vertical takeoff using a complex thrust redirection system. The idea was innovative and ambitious. However, the system failed to generate enough lift for effective flight. The aircraft could barely leave the ground, leading to the project's cancellation.